Have you ever felt the kind of quiet pride that comes from knowing your horses are as much a part of you as your own heartbeat? For me, it's not just about driving a stagecoach. It's about being trusted to get people where they need to go safely. That morning, as the sun rose over Fairbanks Ridge, I had no idea how much that trust would be tested. The sun climbs slowly above the horizon, painting the sky in streaks of gold and crimson. Dust swirls lazily in the air as townsfolk bustle around the stagecoach stop, children chasing each other, merchants shouting their wares, and ranchers leading cattle toward the market. The sound of hooves clattering against packed dirt mixes with the distant hoot of an owl fading into daylight. I lean down to check the harnesses on my team one last time, running my fingers along the leather straps. They're good horses, strong, dependable, but today feels different somehow. Maybe it's the way the wind carries whispers of trouble across the plains. A young boy tugs at his mother's sleeve, pointing excitedly at me. "Mama, look, that's Clara Monroe. She's the best stagecoach driver in the West." His words make me smile, but there's no time to linger. With a firm tug on the reins, I call out, "All aboard, folks. Next stop, Fairwater Pass." As we roll out of town, I glance back at the pastures outside the settlement. There, grazing lazily near a broken fence, stands Samson, an old draft horse I once knew well. He lifts his head briefly, watching us leave, then returns to munching grass. "You've earned your rest, old friend," I whisper to myself. But I sure do miss those days when you led the charge. Little did I know, Samson wasn't done charging just yet. There's a saying out here, the Wild West doesn't wait for anyone. And that day, it came roaring straight for us. The open plains stretch endlessly before us, golden waves of tall grass swaying gently in the breeze. The rhythmic clopping of hooves fills the air, steady and comforting. My passengers chatter quietly among themselves, sharing stories of loved ones waiting at our destination. Then, without warning, the peace shatters. A gunshot cracks through the stillness, followed by the thunderous pounding of hooves. I turn sharply, spotting Jed Dalton and his gang cresting a ridge in the distance. Their shadows stretch long across the land like predators stalking prey. My heart sinks. This isn't just a robbery, it's a hunt. Hold on tight, folks. I shout, cracking the reins hard. My team surges forward, their muscles straining as they pick up speed. Behind us, the gang presses closer, their laughter cutting through the tension. One of the wheels wobbles dangerously, groaning under the strain. Panic flickers in Mrs. Tomlinson's eyes as she clutches her son tightly. "We're not gonna make it," she cries. But then, something catches my attention. A flash of movement near the roadside. It's Tommy, leaning out the window, pointing wildly. "Clara, look." It's Samson. Sure enough, there he is, the old warhorse himself, standing tall despite years of retirement. His ears are pricked forward, his dark eyes fixed on the chaos unfolding before him. For a moment, I hesitate. Can I really ask this of him? But desperation takes hold. I can't let these people down. Not now. Not ever. "Hold tight, everyone," I yell again, steering the coach sharply toward the pasture. As I leap down, my boots hit the ground hard. I sprint towards Samson, my pulse racing. "Samson, old boy," I say urgently, placing a hand on his massive neck. "I know you're tired, but we need you now more than ever." He snorts softly, stomping a hoof as if to say, "Let's do this." With trembling hands, I strap him to the stagecoach. "All right, big fella. Let's show him what you're made of." In moments like that, fear has a way of sharpening everything around you. The sound of hooves hitting the ground, the whistle of bullets slicing through the air, the weight of lives depending on you. Every decision matters. With Samson now leading the charge, the stagecoach lurches forward with newfound power. His massive frame pulls effortlessly against the strain, sending us hurtling down the trail faster than I've ever driven before. The Dalton Gang struggles to keep pace, their lighter horses faltering under the pressure. Jed shouts furiously, urging his men onward. "What in blazes? Don't let him get away." Samson dodges obstacles with surprising agility for such a large horse, leaping over fallen logs, weaving between boulders, and skirting narrow ravines. Each movement sends tremors through the coach, but I cling to the reins with all my strength. Behind us, one outlaw loses control of his horse, tumbling off into the dirt. Another throws up his hands in frustration. "I ain't riding against that monster," he yells, turning tail. Still, Jed presses on, his face twisted with rage. "Keep going, Samson," I murmur, patting his neck. Just a little farther. Ahead, the silhouette of Sheriff Briggs appears on the horizon, flanked by deputies riding hard to intercept the gang. "That's far enough, Dalton," Briggs calls, raising his rifle. Jed scowls but finally relents, wheeling his horse around as we thunder into safety. When the dust settles, it's not always the fastest or the strongest who win. It's the ones who refuse to give up. And that day, Samson proved exactly why he'll always be a legend in my book. The stagecoach rolls triumphantly into town, its passengers cheering loudly. Mothers hug their children tightly, tears streaming down their faces. Men tip their hats in gratitude, while children crowd around Samson, marveling at his size and strength. I climb down stiffly, every muscle aching, but my heart swells with pride. Kneeling beside Samson, I press my forehead against his warm coat. "You've still got it, big fella," I whisper, my voice thick with emotion. Tommy rushes up, his eyes shining with admiration. "That was amazing. Samson's a real hero." The townsfolk cheer, lifting their hats high as Sheriff Briggs rides in with the captured outlaws. "You did good, Clara," he says, tipping his hat. I nod, glancing back at Samson. Couldn't have done it without him. Some might say Samson was too old, too slow. But when the chips were down, he reminded us all that true strength isn't about speed or size. It's about heart. Out here in the Wild West, heroes come in all shapes and sizes. And sometimes, the biggest hearts win the race. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting the town in a warm golden glow, Samson nuzzles Tommy gently, earning delighted laughter from the boy. Townsfolk gather around, sharing stories of the daring escape, already calling it the stuff of legends. I mount the stagecoach once more, ready to continue our journey. As we pull away, I glance back at Samson, who stands proudly in the fading light. "You'll always be my number one, Samson,"
too slow,
I
but when
say
the dust
softly.
settled, he
And with
showed
that,
everyone that
the
strength
stagecoach
comes in many
disappears into the
forms,
vast
and
expanse
sometimes
of the
biggest
Wild
heart
West,
wins the race.
carrying with it the promise of brighter days ahead.